if you have an emergency, and again, let's be specific, an accident which involves another person in the urban environment where you have to also deal with the complexity of other people being around you, the law. How do you go about that? How will you break that down?
See, the first thing that helps in an emergency situation is take charge. Indian crowds seem to respond pretty well to somebody appearing to be in charge and then following instructions. So it's the difference between requesting somebody to help you move somebody off the road versus telling them, help me move it off
That's
the road.
an excellent one.
Right? Telling them seems to work a lot better in our environment. It says something for our culture, but I'm not going to go into it. To me, this is a tool that I can use in an emergency, so I'm willing to use it. So if I were to encounter somebody having a crash, like I think 3-4 weeks ago, I was going up the Curly flyover outside the office, the flyover I like to call Curly, and there was a V-Strom that came over the crest and then it slipped and fell.
Oh, okay.
No injuries really, but it happened. So I was on the other side of the flyover. So I parked the bike, I went across, and somebody was walking past. And while I was talking to the rider, I basically said, bike uthao. And it was very polite. It wasn't polite, it was an instruction. It was instruction, bike uthao. And that dude basically stopped whatever they're doing and they helped lift the bike. So by the time I established that the rider was okay, his bike was also okay. But this person, until that point, was passing the situation by saying, there's a guy on scene, there's a motorcycle down, there's a motorcyclist down, we are okay.
You just got him to help, full stop.
Yeah. If I had said, will you please lift the motorcycle, I don't know what you would have said or done. But when I said lift the bike, we follow instructions pretty easily. So I use that to my advantage.
Okay.
Right?
Nice. That's a good one.
It's the same, I think, when the police show up. The more fear you show, the more there is a chance it will get misused by the police or by somebody else in the crowd against you. It's much easier to just be controlled and calm. And the police thing is the strangest thing. I think we've given police power over us by being scared of them rather than dealing with what they are. They are public servants trying to do a good job. There was a time when they didn't get paid enough, so the bribery culture happened. And I think we are seeing the end of it, where slowly this will go away because there are 1,000 ways that are being invented where they can't do this anymore. It's a matter of time before it ends. And then I suppose India will have high-level corruption like the United States does, but low-level corruption will probably disappear. But until that point, if you treat the policeman like a god, then he will behave like a god. Okay, he's there to do a job, and you have to deal with it at that level. So if you start saying sir, 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 it's much simpler to say officer. An officer doesn't give him a higher position above you. It puts you at the same place as them. And that makes things easier to do. Because remember, you're not guilty. You're trying to get through a situation. I'll give you an actual example. Abhay had a crash. He was riding my KTM 200 Duke. And it wasn't his fault. A girl ran across. When she crossed the bike, she saw an auto on the other side. So she turned around and rammed into my bike.
Oh, God.
Okay. No major injuries, not a high-speed accident. The girl was more scared than she was injured, which of course we found out later. So I get a call. ऐसा हुआ है, he's in such and such police station. So I went to the police station. They've made Abhay stand in the corner of the room. And I was like, have you had water? No, they won't let me have water. Have you had chai? They won't let me have water. So I said, okay. At that point, Aarti was working as a journalist. So I called Aarti and I said, I'm at such and such place. Do you know somebody at this police station? She's like, go meet the SHO. Let me find out his name. So we found out the name of the SHO, which doesn't mean we knew him. So I basically walked into his cabin. And I said, sir, this has happened to my bike. This is a colleague of mine. This is what I understand of the situation. What do you think we should do? So he very calmly said, look, you have only two choices. One is you settle or you let them file an FIR. These are your only two options. If you settle because you are more affluent appearing people versus this girl's family, chances are you'll have to pay them. And if you let it become an FIR, then it'll go to court. But a court thing is not a problem. You live in Mumbai anyway. This thing will drag on for 10 years. Now it's a matter of who has more staying power. I said, okay, so these are my options. When I came out, half the police station was like, how the hell did you go into that room and how do you know, sir? So I said, I don't know, sir. And how I went into the room is through this door. And I basically threatened to demonstrate it again by reopening the door. And the guy asking this question was his PA. PA had gone out for a chai when I walked into the room. So he was feeling like he was in trouble. When I got back into the room, Abhay was sitting and having chai. I didn't know this station head officer. I didn't know him. But now suddenly the whole attitude of the police changed. They were willing to show me where my bike was, how much damage was there, how the family was saying this and the other. And when it all settled down, the girl wasn't injured. She was more scared and she'd been given painkillers. But the fact that we were calm about it, We were methodical about it. And we didn't try to bribe anybody along the way. We were just trying to figure out what is the process. Led us to a much cleaner resolution.
And I think what you've also said shows that they are solution oriented.
They
They're
are.
not interested in having two people sitting and squabbling in
No,
front of them about
they're
whose
not.
fault
It's a
it
waste of
is.
time for them.
Yeah, they want to get whoever's.
Think about it like this. Even a corrupt police officer in that situation gains nothing from the argument. Even if he's corrupt and he's looking for a bribe, do you think he wants to be there for 3 hours trying to extract the
Correct.
bribe, or he wants the bribe right now
And get it done with.
and get it done with?
Right. So when dealing with the police or any official that way,
Yeah.
I think the simple thing is to stay calm,
Stay calm.
talk in a polite manner.
Yeah.
Agreed. And be pointed about what the solution is. I think that
Always.
is always the important thing.
Always.
And I don't think, like, what I've seen is they're not so tied down to what happened, who did what. They're looking at this is what the situation is
Correct.
now.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the who did what and all, then you're talking about a court case. That's a different matter than
Yeah.
altogether. If you want to get out of here and continue leading your life, these
Yeah.
are your options.
It happened to a colleague of mine. They were driving to work in a Swift, and this is a slippery flyover. It's right outside my house, and I get this call saying I've managed to overturn the Swift. I said okay, but it happens to be right outside my house. I got on my bike. I went there, and at the bottom of the flyover is a police chowki, and my friend, the Swift, and policemen were all there. So I rolled up and I said, "What is going on?" Policeman says, "Matter of factly, this flyover is terrible. Things roll down this flyover all the time, especially in
wow.
the rains. ये तो गाड़ी हमने तो बस और ट्रक भी देखे हैं. So your friend has rolled his Swift. अभी उसने सीट बेल्ट पहना था, एयरबैग्स थे, तो उसको कुछ हुआ नहीं है, गाड़ी को डैमेज हुआ है. So I said, okay, so what's to be done? He says, आप यहाँ पे हो? I said, yes. He says, tell your friend to go to the police station, do this paperwork and come, otherwise he will not get his insurance. Solved.
Nice.
And they went back to work. They basically said, we wanted to make sure your friend has somebody to talk to. Now you're here. Our responsibility is done. This is the process now. Please go and do it.
And the car had rolled.
Car had rolled. They towed it down to the bottom of the flyover so it won't block traffic. Made sure he was physically okay. He was shaken up, obviously, but he was not physically injured. So he said, call your friend. I was the nearest. So I said, okay, you go. Go lodge your complaint and come.
Nice.
So when they started making a fuss at the police station about lodging a complaint, he called me. He said, what do I do? I said, hang on. I asked him. He said, they're making a fuss. He says, tell them it's for an insurance claim. There's nobody else involved. So he said, there was nobody else involved. I rolled the car and it just happened to happen. अच्छा उस flyover पे हुआ क्या? पहले क्यों नहीं बोला? So it's like everybody knows that flyover keeps
Oh, wow.
causing issues, right? But after that, he said nobody asked for any additional bribe, no hassle, nothing.
Okay.
Then it went very calmly from there. So my understanding of the police is, please don't turn them into gods, because then you will get taken advantage of. Deal with them as public servants who are trying to do a job as much as you're trying to get to the other side. And you've had an issue of whatever sort it is. Deal with it, find a solution and move on. Consider this your invitation to like, share and subscribe. Try the main MotorInc channel too. Lots more content there just for you.